Tragedy strikes Fullerton as a plane crash claims 2 lives and injures 19. The Fullerton community is reeling from a devastating plane crash that occurred yesterday afternoon. A single-engine aircraft crashed into a warehouse near Fullerton Municipal Airport, claiming the lives of 2 individuals and injuring 19 others. The incident has sent shockwaves through the community, leaving residents grappling with grief and searching for answers. The crash occurred at approximately 2 p.m. local time, just moments after the aircraft took off from Fullerton Municipal Airport. The plane, a Vans RV-10, was seen struggling to gain altitude before plummeting into the roof of a commercial warehouse located in a busy industrial area. The impact triggered a massive fire, engulfing the building in flames and sending thick plumes of smoke billowing into the sky. The warehouse, occupied by a plastics manufacturing company, was bustling with activity at the time of the crash. Witnesses described a scene of chaos and panic as the plane slammed into the building, followed by the deafening roar of the explosion and the terrifying sight of flames spreading rapidly through the structure. Terrified employees scrambled to evacuate the building as debris rained down around them. The crash sent shockwaves through the community, with many residents reporting feeling the ground shake from the impact. The incident has left a scar on the community, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the ever-present dangers that lurk, even in the most ordinary of days. Eyewitness accounts provide chilling details of the horrifying moments leading up to and following the crash. Daniel Hernandez, who was working across the street from the warehouse, described seeing the plane wobbling in the air shortly after takeoff. It looked like it was having trouble gaining altitude, he said, his voice still trembling from the shock. Then, all of a sudden, it just nosedived straight into the building. The impact, described by many as sounding like a bomb exploding, sent shockwaves through the surrounding area. The force of the crash shook nearby buildings, shattering windows and sending people running for cover. Smoke and debris filled the air as a raging fire erupted, engulfing the warehouse in flames. Sarah Jenkins, who was driving by the warehouse when the crash occurred, described the scene as apocalyptic. It was like something out of a nightmare, she said. One minute everything was normal, and the next, there was this huge explosion and flames everywhere. The harrowing accounts of eyewitnesses paint a vivid picture of the chaos and terror that unfolded in the wake of the crash. Their testimonies serve as a stark reminder of the devastating impact of such tragedies on the lives of ordinary people. Within minutes of the crash, a massive emergency response effort was underway. Firefighters, paramedics, and law enforcement officers from across the region raced to the scene, confronting a scene of utter devastation. Their priority, to extinguish the raging inferno and tend to the injured. Firefighters battled valiantly to contain the blaze, which had engulfed the entire warehouse. The fire, fueled by the burning wreckage of the plane and the flammable materials stored inside the building, raged for hours. Fire crews used ladder trucks and aerial platforms to attack the fire from above, while ground crews worked tirelessly to protect surrounding buildings from the intense heat and flames. Meanwhile, paramedics and EMTs worked frantically to treat the injured, setting up a triage area near the crash site. The injured, some with severe burns and other traumatic injuries, were rushed to nearby hospitals for treatment. The scene was a flurry of activity as first responders worked tirelessly to save lives and bring the situation under control. The swift and coordinated response of emergency services was crucial in mitigating the impact of the disaster. Their courage and dedication in the face of such tragedy deserve our deepest gratitude and admiration. As the community grapples with the aftermath of the crash, investigators from the Federal Aviation Administration and the National Transportation Safety Board have descended upon the scene to begin the arduous task of piecing together what went wrong. Their investigation will focus on several key areas, including the pilot's experience, the aircraft's maintenance records, and any potential environmental factors that may have contributed to the crash. The NTSB, the lead agency in aviation accident investigations, will meticulously document the wreckage, analyze flight data recorders if available, and interview witnesses and air traffic controllers. They will also examine the aircraft's maintenance history, looking for any signs of mechanical failure or malfunction that could have played a role in the crash. The FAA, responsible for regulating and overseeing civil aviation safety, will conduct a parallel investigation focusing on the pilot's qualifications and compliance with aviation regulations. They will review the pilot's training records, medical history, and flight experience to determine if any pilot error may have contributed to the crash. The investigation is expected to be lengthy and complex, with authorities cautioning against speculating about the cause of the crash until all the facts are known. However, the findings of the investigation will be crucial in determining what, if any, safety improvements can be made to prevent similar tragedies from happening in the future. Section 5. Victims identified, remembering the lives lost. As the community mourns the loss of life in the tragic plane crash, the identities of the 2 individuals who perished in the incident have been released. The victims, both experienced pilots and prominent members of the local aviation community, were identified as Robert Davis, 52, and Jessica Miller, 48. Davis, a seasoned pilot with over 20 years of flying experience, was a beloved flight instructor at Fullerton Municipal Airport. Known for his infectious enthusiasm and dedication to aviation safety, Davis had touched the lives of countless aspiring pilots over the years. He is remembered by his students and colleagues as a patient and encouraging mentor who instilled in them a deep love for flying. Miller, a successful businesswoman and avid aviator, was a passionate advocate for women in aviation. She had recently earned her pilot's license and was an active member of several local flying clubs. Miller is remembered for her infectious smile, her adventurous spirit, and her unwavering belief in the power of flight. The loss of Davis and Miller has left a void in the local aviation community, where they were both highly respected and admired. Their untimely deaths serve as a reminder of the inherent risks associated with aviation and the importance of continuous vigilance in maintaining the highest safety standards. Section 6. Community Response. Fullerton unites in grief and support. In the wake of the tragedy, the Fullerton community has come together to grieve the loss of life and offer support to the victims' families and the injured. Candlelight vigils have been held near the crash site, where mourners have gathered to pay their respects, share their grief, and find solace in the company of others. Local businesses and community organizations have stepped up to provide assistance to those affected by the crash. Restaurants have donated food to first responders and displaced workers, while hotels have offered discounted rooms to families of the victims and the injured. Counseling services have also been made available to those struggling to cope with the emotional toll of the tragedy. The outpouring of support from the community has been overwhelming, a testament to the resilience and compassion of the human spirit in the face of adversity. The shared grief and collective acts of kindness serve as a beacon of hope during this difficult time. Section 7. Safety Concerns. Scrutinizing home-built aircraft regulations. The tragic crash in Fullerton has reignited concerns about the safety of home-built aircraft, also known as experimental aircraft. While the cause of the crash is still under investigation, the incident has prompted calls for stricter regulations and oversight of the home-built aircraft industry. Home-built aircraft, often assembled from kits, are subject to less stringent safety regulations than commercially manufactured aircraft. While proponents of home building argue that it allows for greater innovation and affordability in aviation, critics have long raised concerns about the potential for safety oversights during the construction and inspection process. The FAA has specific regulations governing the construction and certification of home-built aircraft. However, critics argue that these regulations are not comprehensive enough and that there is a lack of adequate oversight to ensure compliance. They point to the fact that home-built aircraft are not subject to the same level of rigorous testing and inspection as commercially manufactured aircraft. Following the crash in Fullerton, some aviation experts and lawmakers are calling for a review of existing regulations governing home-built aircraft. They argue that stricter regulations, including more stringent inspection requirements and mandatory pilot training standards, are necessary to improve safety and prevent similar tragedies from occurring in the future. Section 8. Fullerton recovers moving forward in the wake of tragedy. As the initial shock and grief begin to subside, the Fullerton community faces the daunting task of healing and rebuilding in the wake of the devastating plane crash. The scars of the tragedy will undoubtedly linger, but the community's resilience and spirit of unity offer hope for the future. The investigation into the crash will continue, and in time, the community will gain a clearer understanding of what transpired on that fateful day. The findings of the investigation will be crucial in informing any necessary safety improvements and preventing similar tragedies from happening in the future. In the meantime, the community will continue to rally around the families of the victims and the injured, providing support and comfort during this difficult time. The outpouring of love and compassion from the community is a testament to the inherent goodness of humanity and a source of strength as Fullerton navigates the long road to recovery. The crash in Fullerton serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of cherishing every moment. It is also a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of community in the face of adversity. As Fullerton begins the long process of healing, the lessons learned from this tragedy will undoubtedly shape the community's future, fostering a greater appreciation for life, a renewed commitment to safety, and an unwavering spirit of unity.